Welcome to Summer Play LA 2021 Hire LA Training. This is the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks, Summer Play LA, and this training will be discussing keeping campers and staff safe. Attached is the program flyer that has all the detailed information. We all operate the same, youth ages 6 to 14 years old, and the summer camp time is from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. There's also extended care, and there's the activities, the safety, all the information is there. You can also view this on the website at laparks.org/summerplayla. So a little bit of the Summer Play overview. We have 106 Summer Play LA site locations in the Metro, Valley, Pacific, and West area. The staffing levels, there will be 2 to 3 full-time staff. There's also part-time staff there, and you will be the LA Hire employees. As I mentioned, hours of operation is from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and the extended care is available from 4:30 to 6 p.m.
Thank you, Letty.
Thank you.
All right, so just some more information for you all, just so you guys have an idea of what you're going to be doing this summer. The program began on June 14th. It'll end August 13th. Summer Play LA flyer, you guys already saw that, and registration began on April 29th. So we're already starting week 1 of camp. Just a basic overview. This is the kind of what we have in the parent manual, so you guys will know the information. This was sent to all full-time staff on June 1st. We do have a ratio of 1 to 10 maximum, 1 staff per 10 children. And like Letty said earlier, the youth ages are 6 to 14 years old. There are several camp responsibilities or positions. There's camp directors, camp counselors, which you guys would fall under the camp counselor or recreation intern position, health screeners, and we'll go over what health screeners do, summer lunch personnel, and maintenance. We'll be going over the affidavit in a little while, so you guys will see that, but everyone must complete an affidavit when working with children. And just social media, we just wanted to put it out there. We know social media is very prevalent, but we do have a social media policy within the city. So I just wanted to read it to you guys. The City of LA and their Department of Rec and Parks manages all photography, videography, and social media content. LA Hire staff are not allowed to video, photograph, record, or post content involving our camps and programs unless asked to do so by camp and facility management and following policy and procedure. All content is property of the City of LA, Department of Rec and Parks, and cannot be taken or used without written consent. Staff who do not adhere to this policy will be required to remove any unsanctioned media from their electronic devices, manual devices, and/or social media accounts, and may result in further disciplinary and legal action. And we know now everyone's, taking videos, taking pictures, or on their social media a lot. Please be aware you guys are working with children, so you have to be, responsible and only, you shouldn't be taking photos. You should really not be on your phone and really engage with the kids when you're at camp. So we all expect all staff to meet safety standards. Up next, we have Miss Trish Delgado.
Great. Our biggest thing is to providing a safe and enjoyable experience for the kids, which means that the counselors and everybody need to follow certain safety standards and protocols, and there are expectations out of all employees that work to put on Summer Play LA. As Sonia mentioned, we do have a cell phone policy. Excessive personal calls during the workday can interfere with employee productivity, be distracting to others, and put the safety of the campers at risk. All personal phone calls need to be made while off duty. Make sure your family and friends are aware you're not able to take calls while at work. Staff may not possess or use personal communication devices while on duty. If a personal emergency call is received, exercise discretion when answering. Personal phone use may not include camp programs or participants unless approved ahead of time by your immediate supervisor. The City of Los Angeles and the Department of Recreation and Parks are not liable for any loss or damage to staff property. The use of camera or other video or audio recording capable devices is prohibited without the express prior permission of site supervisor and of the person or subject to record. Written consent from the parent or guardian of the person subject to recording is required if the person is under 18 years old. Video or audio recording in restrooms or the locker rooms is strictly prohibited. Staff violating this policy will be subject to discipline, including termination of employment or service opportunity. As far as dress code, counselors are expected to be dressed appropriately at all times. Camp staff must be identifiable at all times and must wear an unaltered camp shirt or badge while on park grounds. There's no tying of the knots in the camp shirts or cutting off the sleeves. It needs to be the shirt that you are issued at all times. Any item of clothing that does not allow you to comfortably carry out your job effectively or does not allow you to participate in activities with your campers cannot be worn at camp. Shorts must be mid-thigh. Articles of clothing or otherwise with reference to drugs, alcohol, profanity, or inappropriate slogans are not permitted at camp. Closed-toe shoes are required at camp. Shoes must be sturdy, have rubber soles, and protect your feet. There are types of sandals that can be worn, but they must be closed-toe, have an ankle strap, and mostly enclose your feet. The camp director reserves the right to address any issues with this policy. As far as the higher LA staff conduct and camper counselor contract, you will be signing a contract that you acknowledge all of the below listed items and materials. First is the discipline, that you will understand and accept the following: that under no circumstances may you hit a child. You may not use abusive or derogatory language with campers or other counselors. You will seek the assistance of supervisory staff anytime you need or think you may need help. Camper to staff contact, that you understand and accept that when touching campers, the following guidelines must apply: only on the shoulder, upper back, or upper arm, and always with an open palm. Never against a child's discomfort, whether expressed verbally or non-verbally. Never against a child's will, unless in a case of clear or present danger to the child. Physical contact with campers is not allowed on any part of a child's body that is normally covered by a bathing suit, unless there is a clear medical necessity or emergency, and then only with the supervision by camp supervisory staff. State law pertaining to child abuse. You need to be aware of the following and you'll receive additional training. As a child care custodian, we are all mandated reporters of suspected child abuse. Definition of a mandated reporter is: I must tell my supervisor or the director immediately if I suspect that a camper is being abused or if a camper tells me about abuse, whether that abuse is alleged at camp or elsewhere. Clarification that a report is based on suspicion of abuse, not proven abuse. You also need to be aware that you have viewed and reviewed the city instruction on sexual harassment. The department is committed on maintaining a workplace that is free from violence and threats and danger. Threatening behavior or acts of violence against an employee, a customer, or any other individual cannot and will not be tolerated. There is a zero tolerance policy on hazing.
Thank you, Trish. Next we're up is Kimberly.
Okay, further guidelines for staff. You need to understand and accept the following. The camp has a no bullying environment that condemns teasing, hazing, and any other initiation rights that are abusive in any manner toward campers or counselors. Staff should avoid being alone with campers. Another camper or counselor should be present at all times. Double coverage of campers by adults will be enacted during changing times. Counselors will set limits with children who cling or hang on them. Actions such as massages, back rubs, and tickling are not allowed. Furthermore, staff will never touch a camper without their clothes on, except in the case of a safety emergency where 911 must be dialed. Romantic lives of staff can under no circumstances be shared with campers. Whatever is done with campers should be done in broad daylight with company, observable and interruptible. I must pretend I'm on stage in front of 500 camper parents. Other instructions. You should agree to the following: to watch for signs of stress in myself and others as a way of maintaining a safe environment for camp, and alert my supervisor if I become aware of these signs in myself or others. To alert site supervision or supervisor of at-risk situations between campers and staff. To seek help myself if I feel at risk of hurting, overstimulating, or abusing a camper. To ask for more supervision, intervention, or support anytime I might need it. Health screeners. A health screener's job includes the following. Health screeners must wear gloves at all times, disinfect multi-use items. Use of the goggles, wearing goggles are optional. Health screenings include a temperature check. Anyone with a temperature of 100.4 or greater is not allowed at camp. They also are asked questions about COVID-19 symptom screening. There may be occasions with health screeners will not be on site. RAP staff will take on the responsibility, and temperature checks can be optional as determined by the DIC. Summer 2021 youth program specifics. There will be a social and physical distancing with campers and staff throughout the day. Health screenings will be done 2 times per day. All children and staff are required to wear face coverings throughout the day. There are COVID-19 reporting protocols, and those can be found in Exhibit F in the manual.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. Just so you guys know, so a lot of this is done so for your awareness. We're letting you know, but there will be people who are hired as health screeners specifically, and a lot of the reporting will be done by the supervisor or the director on site. Safety.
All right, we're going to go over safety procedures.
All right,
Screening and intake, temperature checks, location, log into program, participant tracking form that can be found at bit.ly/RAP trace log. Daily screening protocols, we have ongoing screenings, the timing and location. The protocols are symptomatic children, notification of a positive COVID-19 case. Participants will need clearance from a medical provider to return to SPLA. Cleaning procedures, CDC guidelines. We also have the RAP responsibilities, maintenance responsibilities, Exhibit D, the cleaning protocols, equipment, supplies, personal items such as cubby boxes, the wagons. We want to sanitize at the end of each week. Registration process. The COVID-19 related waiver, there's the registration form, which is multi-sides. We have the COVID waiver form, which is the page 4 that must be filled out and signed. And we need the self-certification form for the Community Development Block Grant. That also requires proof, and those are all listed on the back of the form. Registration forms, we need a separate form for every child. The registration process can be done online at RecTrack or also on a first come, first served basis. Our registration began April 29th and continues until camp is full. We can register weekly or monthly.
Yeah, and all this information is just for your information. It should be handled in the office by staff, but just so you guys know, all the participants need to have these waivers to be in camp.
The Summer 2020 Youth Program specifies daily programming. Here's an example of a daily programming for a site. You have an hourly schedule with activities, looking at Exhibit A. We are always welcome to more ideas and ideas from the campers. We want to be COVID safe. Make sure we follow protocol throughout the day. We must include learning enrichment, which is also included in Exhibit A and B.
Perfect, thank you, Eric. So if you guys have any ideas while you're out there, you guys always come and talk to the camp counselors, or especially ideas where there are more COVID-friendly games or something you know that we can share with the kids, please, we encourage you guys to let us know about that. So next we're going to be going over some safety, just safety procedures, just so you guys know. So these are several sheets that we're going to give to you, and you have to sign off that you understand. But the first one is about material handling and safety. So how are you going to pick up things? If we ask you to help at camp to go get supplies, make sure that you're bending properly, that you're not lifting something too heavy. If you need assistance like a dolly or a truck, make sure you ask for something. You know, a lot of times when you're young, you guys think you can handle it, but we don't want anybody getting hurt. So risk factors for low back pain, make sure that you're bending at the knees. You have a good grip of whatever you're going to be picking up. Lifting and lowering forces, reduce the size. If you lower down and you lift up with the knee, that's why it's a lot better. You're out of that danger zone. If you can see the picture here of the danger zone, if you're too high or if you're too low, you want to be right in the middle and get a lot of use out of your legs to help you up. Like I said, you can always ask for a dolly. We have those little carts, like the little wagons. There's a lot of different devices at the rec centers to help you with moving things around. So this and the following flyers will be sent with you as well. So you should look at those and review them. So here's some more examples of the wrong way to lift something and the proper way to lift something. Get good grip, have your feet steady on the ground. Like we said, make sure that you're wearing closed-toed shoes, and that if you need help, to have someone help you as well. So back injury prevention, a little more of the same thing. Plan the move. Like I said, use dollies or hand carts. Make sure that the area is clear. There's nothing in the way that you can trip on, something that's in the way. Keep it close to your body and watch what you're doing. Try not to twist or bend so you don't hurt your back. Hazard awareness, like I said, make sure whatever's in the way is out of the way. When you guys are doing summer camp, there might be water hoses and toys and balls and all kinds of stuff, right? So you want to make sure all those things are out of the way. This way there's no injury. If you're in the office, and an example here in the picture is a file cabinet's open. If no one's using it, we should close that because someone may not see that because it's low to the ground. So make sure that you're looking in your environment, inspecting your work area, using the right tools and equipment for the job. If you need PPEs, like we said, right now we're still wearing masks when we're around children. If you need hand sanitizer, all that should be there at the center for you. So if you need it, make sure you ask and we'll provide it for you. Heat illness prevention. These last couple of days has been very hot and it's going to get hotter, right? We're just starting summer. So make sure you're always aware of getting plenty of water. There should be water stations at your center. There should be canopies and a cool area under some shade where you can relax. Just make sure that if you notice yourself or the kids, they look like they're getting too hot or they're really flush. If you haven't had a water break in a while, make sure you ask for one. So what causes heat illness? Dehydration. If you're not acclimated to the weather, not taking the responsibility to cool down in hot weather, or if you have poor health. What can you do to prevent it? Take some breaks, drink some water, pace yourself. So in camp, you're going to be doing a lot of games and activities, running around with the kids. Make sure that you're hydrating and that you're taking little breaks if you need them. Like we said, make sure you have some shade, getting water, getting acclimated, cool down. When there's the really, really hot days, we'll be sending notices also out, just informing staff to be careful on those really hot days. Maybe you shouldn't do such rigorous activity. You should be more relaxed, try and find cool places, and those type of things. And here's some more just facts on heat stress. Some of the symptoms could be high body temperature, confusion, loss of coordination, hot, dry skin or profuse sweating, headaches. There is first aid available. So if, we do have basic first aid at the site, and then we can call if we need more assistance. Some signs of heat exhaustion are rapid heartbeat, heavy sweating, extreme weakness or fatigue, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, irritability, shallow breathing, and then some elevated body temperature. So protect yourself, do all the things we said earlier. Make sure that you're hydrated, you're taking breaks, you're in cool areas, dressing cool and that kind of stuff. Okay, safe worker. I think it's still me. Which one do you start on?
This one's fine.
Okay, sorry. All right, Jackie Lopez. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, welcome again. My name's Jackie Lopez. Are you a safe worker? We hope that you are this summer as you join us. We will again be making sure that you receive these hard copies of this training, but make sure you stay alert to all possible hazards in your work environment. If you see something, please make sure you let the site director know, the camp director know, or any of the other support staff for your summer camp to make sure that everybody's safe. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Advance yourself in attending safety training such as this one, so you are already here. Report any close calls, so any hazards or accidents that occurred or something seems unsafe to you, please report that. Read labels, safety data sheets, anything that seems like some sort of hazard or anything that has a label, please make sure that you read those. A lot of the times we don't think about it, but even our paints that we use for arts and crafts have labels. Go ahead and make sure that you educate yourself with, what's in those items. Learn how to operate this one's not so much intended for you, but this training, would include learning how to operate emergency equipment, get training on choosing the correct type of fire extinguisher. The staff at your, maybe if you don't know how to use a fire extinguisher, at least know where it is. So know where all your fire extinguishers are, so that people that are trained with using an extinguisher may be of help if you need it. Know the location of emergency shower or eye wash, or your nearest sinks, your nearest water fountains. Those can become eye wash locations. Let's see, dress appropriately. That's a good one. And wear your PPEs. So make sure that, as long as your masks are being provided to you and we are asking that you wear a mask, please make sure that you continue to wear your PPE properly. Our masks are they're worn over our nose and our mouth. So make sure we're doing that. Dress appropriately for work. We did go over the dress code, so you can review on that. Be alert to electrical hazards, broken switches, damaged insulation, and we all have that responsibility to make sure that we're alert and observant to our surrounding, because making sure that we're safe is great, but we also must ensure that the safety of all of our campers and our coworkers is also being provided a safe environment. Slips, trips, and falls. Make sure that you are being preventative and you're being proactive, not reactive. So just make sure that we think before we act. Make sure that, again, we're observant, prevent slips, practice safe walking skills, meaning your eyes are open, you're not shuffling your feet, you're watching where you walk. Think about the safest way to do your job before you start. The safest way to guide our campers. Wear the right kind of shoes. Again, that was covered in our, just making sure that we're wearing closed-toe shoes at all times. And we're not wearing any kind of clothing, or, also making sure that our shoelaces are tied. So that's not included here, but that's a big one. Clean spills right away. If we spill something, let's clean it. Make sure that if you need to go and get something to wipe your spills with, you allow somebody to know that, if they can be of help, and just stand by. Make sure you prop up a sign if you need to. So using signs as barricades, that's important. Preventing trips, paying attention to where we're going, being careful with carrying loads, making sure that our line of sight is not blocked by anything. Making sure that our areas are well lighted. If we see that a light bulb is out, let's make sure that we let our site director know, our camp director. Let's see, moving objects out of the way. Reporting dangerous conditions always, immediately. That's our responsibility. Keeping your work areas clear and uncluttered is very important. And let's see. And also here it says, keeping your hands on a handrail whenever you go, whenever you use the stairs. Remind your campers to do so as well. It's not always, their first, it's not always the first thing they do is not always, they're not thinking about safety. So make sure that we're reminding them how to be safe. Preventing falls. Try not to jump off, if you're if you're like on a high stage, or if you're up on a ladder, make sure you're not jumping off. Check lighting, use the right ladder or lift. You shouldn't be using too many ladders or lifts this summer. If you are, please make sure that it's okay with your camp director, and that's something that they've asked you to do, and it's something that's okay. Just always watch your step and encourage your campers to do so as well. And from all of us to you, have an awesome summer.
Yes, thank you. We welcome you all, and have a great summer, a safe summer, and thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Leticia Lopez, and I'm here with Liska Mendoza to go over child abuse training for mandated reporters. So who must report suspected child abuse? Well, if you work for Recreation and Parks, no matter your age or what your position you hold, you are mandated child reporters, all of you. So if you have reasonable suspicion that a child has been mistreated, even with no evidence or proof, you are required by law to make a report, especially if you suspect that a child is in danger of abuse or neglect. Report it and let the experts make that determination. So what is child abuse? Under California law, child abuse is a crime. California law defines child abuse as any of the following. So as you can see, it's either physical, a child physically injured by other than accidental means; sexual, a child is abused or exploited sexually; cruelty, a child subjected to willful cruelty or unjustifiable punishment; neglect, a child is neglected by parents or caretaker who fails to provide adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, or supervision. Report can be known or suspected. So if you visually see it or you hear about it, whether from a child or from someone else, you need to report it. Why should we care? Well, obviously, the number one reason is to protect the child who is the victim. Protecting the identified child may provide the opportunity to protect other potential victims within the family, and also to bring about change. If you didn't know, almost 700,000 children are abused in the U.S. annually. So bring about change, it is equally important to provide help for suspected abuser. The report of abuse may be catalyst for bringing about change in the child's environment. When reporting an incident, keep in mind of these following. The number one is suspected. The person reporting suspected child abuse is not required to have seen it. So if they tell you or if you hear it from the child, even if they're joking around, if it's something that could possibly be true, then you need to report it. And then second is report. It is not your duty to investigate. Your duty is to report initial information so that trained professionals can do the proper investigation. Again, it's not your duty to investigate, it's your duty to report. 3 is neutral. It is not your duty to determine guilt or innocent. You're not there to find out if it's true or not, but you still need to report. And then CPS is the Child Protective Services, investigators to determine whether or not the report is founded or not. How does child abuse get reported? Once you suspected a child has been abused, call your supervisor first. Number 2, be prepared with the following information. Make sure you have all this gathered: child's name, address, parent, guardian's name, present location of child, the age, child's age, the nature or extent of the injury, the name and age of other children residing in the household, if you know it, and the information that led you to suspect child abuse, and any information regarding the suspected abuser, such as name, phone number, or witness. Call LAPD or LA County Child Protective Hotline. Lastly, as a mandated reporter, you may be asked for your name. You receive unqualified immunity from civil liability. The Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting Act states that the name of the mandated reporter is strictly confidential, although it is provided to investigate parties working the case. How to report. Initial suspected report must be made by telephone, but if that situation is urgent and our immediate safety is required, call 911. To make a report, call either LAPD or LA County. So as you can see here, we have the LAPD's information as well as the LA County information. So LAPD Abuse Child Unit is always called when there is evidence of physical abuse. 2, the abuser is someone other than a parent or guardian, example, a city employee, volunteer, coach, or patron. We've had that in the past. And you may call LAPD Abuse Child Unit to ask if the incident is reportable or not. Then call the emergency response intake worker at your local child protective agency and discuss the situation with them. You can get advice on how to proceed. So if you don't know and you may or may not think it is child abuse, call it in. They will determine whether you move forward or not. Before you hang up, always get the name and phone number of the person you spoke with and document the date and time. Get a referral number from a representative and complete the suspected child abuse report, which is now available online at Mandated Reporter CA, which is california.com. So here's a picture, a layout of the website, which is the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. And that's where you click, which you submit follow-up suspected child abuse report. You must make a verbal report to the Child Protection Hotline before attempting to complete this report. And this is what the report will look like with all the information that we asked you to gather as you start inputting this information. So complete the suspected child abuse report. By completing this report online or completing the SS 8572, you will be satisfying the legal duty to report in most cases. And the Suspected Child Abuse Reporter SCAR form, SS 8572, must be submitted in 36 hours of receiving the information concerning the incident to Department of Children and Family Services. There's the address. You can also fill this up online. It's a fillable document in case your handwriting is not as clear and legible. Only if you're a licensed childcare and license exempt program, ALC, for a licensed childcare license exempt program, an additional process must be done. So contact the Department of Social Services within 1 working day of the incident being reported to you. So here's the Department of Social Service Community Care Licensing Division, LA Child Care East and LA Child Care. You can call whichever the one's closest to you, or you can even ask them if that is the correct location, and complete licensing unusual incident report, LIC 624. Unusual incident and injury report. Complete the unusual incident injury report, license 624. Send copy to your supervisor and keep 2 copies of the report in a secure location at the licensed facility or license exempt ALC site. The form is available online. See, there's the information there so you can see it, and you can fill it out online, print it, and sign. Sometimes it could be a little encumbersome, has a lot of information, but this checklist, you can actually print this out, post it, and have it with you. Gives you a little easier way of navigating and what to do. So if a child discloses what you suspect is child abuse, there's your first step. Inform your supervisor immediately of the situation. If unreachable, inform the next level above in chain of command. Then the second, call the appropriate number listed below to report the incident or to ask if the incident is reportable. Be sure to document the agency you notified, the name of the person taking the report, the time the report was made, and the referral number. And there's the LAPD number, which they're Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. And note, LAPD must be called if the suspected child abuse allegedly occurred anywhere outside the child's home, or the LA County Child Abuse Hotline. There's the phone number at 800-540-4000. Note, LA County Child Abuse Hotline must be called if suspected child abuse allegedly occurrence inside the home. Third step, complete the suspected child abuse report, SS 8572. Electronically submit, fax, or mail within 36 hours. If there is internet access, use the DFS website for written report or mail to the Department of Children and Family Services. Fourth is complete the incident report. We have that internally, which is in the RAP Intra e-forms. The fifth, if the suspected abuser is a department employee, you must inform Human Resources at the number 213-202-3222. And lastly, if you are a licensed facility or ALC site, you must also call 310-337-4333 and send a written report, license 624, within 7 days to Community Care Licensing. And there's the address, 6167 Bristol Parkway, Suite 400, Culver City, California, 90230. So if anything, this last piece should be your go-to. And if you have questions, you can ask your supervisor. And like I mentioned, make sure you report. And if you're in doubt, let them be the deciding factor if it's reportable or not. Either way, just make sure you document who you spoke to, the date and time, and get that information saved. So as a reminder, it is always better to make the report rather than not. The Child Protective Agency does the investigation, not you. So remember, say no to child abuse. Thank you, and make sure that you report any suspected child abuse.